Bubba Wallace took the blame for spinning out Kyle Larson. That brought out a caution with 2 laps to go and changed the entire finish of the race at Richmond for the NASCAR Cup Series. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. Before we get into what both Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson had to say, let's actually take a look at the replay. This is over at Fox NASCAR. We don't really get to see exactly what kind of starts it. I always feel like the Fox production is just awful when they come to like sharing social media clips and things like that. It's always usually like something you want that's like way too late. They share it like 2 days after the fact when you really need it, or they don't give you the full context. They like shave off like the first 20 seconds that you need to see. Their production value definitely needs to improve, especially on their social media game. But anyways, here is the clip. Obviously, Larson in the 5, Bubba Wallace in the 23 car. Let's take a look. So it looks like Larson gets loose right there, and then Bubba just kind of comes up, clips him in the left rear, and sends him around. I think I was actually convinced, based on the commentary from both Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer, that Wallace wasn't really at fault, but listening to both Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson has really made it very clear that that is not the case. Because I think if I was listening to Harvick and Boyer, they were basically saying that Larson kind of got loose and checked up, but it didn't look like he did, because you would have probably seen that fire come out of the exhaust. I didn't really see any there in that replay. We can take a look at it again. It does look like he does kind of get a little loose coming off the corner, but again, no fire coming out of the exhaust. Doesn't really look like he checks up that much, checks up at all. You see Wallace hit him and he checks up and the flames come out of his car. So it looks like Wallace does indeed just kind of clean him out there. But let's listen to what Bubba Wallace had to say, speaking with Bob Pockrass from Fox NASCAR, and this footage was taken by Front Stretch. So let's listen to what he had to say here, because he fully takes the blame and puts it on himself for spinning out Kyle Larson.
Got loose, overcorrected into him, so they netted better. Karma's a real thing. Cost us, but I was really content with 5th, had a good run, and I just got loose, overcorrected into him, so apologize to the 5 team. Not intentional by all means, but karma's quick in this sport for sure.
You know that it's going to look like...
That's because you're saying that, Bob. Stop making headlines.
All right, but...
So there you go. Bubba Wallace said it twice there. He got loose, overcorrected it, and took out Kyle Larson and issued in a public apology there, and then told Bob Pockrass to stop trying to make it look like this is part of a rivalry between him and Kyle Larson. Pretty clear that he is indeed taking responsibility for it. Says the blame is on him, and I think Kyle Larson would concur. This is what he had to say to Jamie Little following the race. Let's take a listen.
Larson ends up 3rd after all of that. Just take us back to the moment where it looks like you got loose and you spun out and you were able to save it and then salvage this great finish.
Well, I was a little bit loose and then I got finished off there. So thankfully it all kind of just worked out, and I didn't, I only lost whatever, a spot to Bubba and then to Byron there. I was able to keep it going, and then my pit crew did a really good job to get us off pit road, gain us those spots, restart 4th and gain one more. So I will take a 3rd after what could have been a lot worse there on the front stretch. So proud of the HendrickCars.com team.
So there you go. He says he did get loose. He confirms that, but he says that he got cleaned out or finished off by Bubba Wallace. So obviously both drivers are saying that it was Bubba Wallace's fault. And I think the video shows that. I don't think there is any reason to dispute that. Although Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer did indeed say that it seemed like it was Larson's fault, or at least I felt like that was the implication that they were giving. during the broadcast because they say Larson got loose. He checked up. Bubba Wallace was trying to just kind of get in behind Larson, and because Larson had checked up, he missed that or he failed to anticipate Larson checking up, and so he was expecting him to continue the pace he was going, so he then got into the back of him and spun it out, and basically kind of putting the blame, I felt like, a little bit at least on Kyle Larson, whereas you hear from both Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson there that the blame is on Bubba Wallace. But let me know what you guys make of this. Obviously, both drivers that were involved in it were saying that it was Bubba Wallace's fault, but the two drivers in the booth, at least according to my ears, seem to be implying that it was Kyle Larson's fault. But let me know what you guys make of what happened here. What do you make of the end of the race for both Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson? Obviously, I think Larson finished in third, edging out Martin Truex Jr. And I think Bubba Wallace, he restarted in 16th, so I'm not really exactly sure where he finished, but obviously not in that fourth or fifth position that he was probably going to finish in if he and Larson did not bring out the caution. But again, let me know what you guys made of this in the comments below.